Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In this episode, we episode 1, we meet the 5 couples and we get to know them first individually. We get a bit of their background story, what they're looking for in a relationship, and what they're hoping to build with their partner. So first off, we start off with Brianna and Vincent. Brianna is a very accomplished young lady who's an engineer. She meets up with a friend. She breaks the news to her friend that she has been matched. Both her and her friend are very excited because this is something that Brianna mentions that she's been looking for. She says that she's outspoken. She has met most of her career goals and is looking for someone who is as driven as she is, if not more. And she's hoping to create a lasting union. She talks about the idea of hopefully telling her children and her grandchildren about how she met her partner. Her friend does sort of ask her some interesting questions about, some quirks or some things that tend to sort of put off Brianna, and sort of try to see whether she's definitely ready for this process. And they do have a very good back and forth, which I think is very good to have friends like that who are able to sort of hold you to account and make sure that they ask you the right questions to make sure that you explore all options. From there, we meet Vincent, who's also out with his friends. He's a young man who's very driven, who is entering this process because he really is looking for a lifelong partner. He's looking forward to starting a family of his own. He does talk about the fact that his relationship with his dad was not the best, and is hoping to be a better father figure to his children, and is hoping to find a match, to be matched with someone who's in it for the right reasons and someone who's working towards the same goal as him. In my opinion, they seem like a perfect match. And it seems like if they stay true to what their intentions are, they could have a lasting union. From there, we meet Eric and Virginia. Eric is a pilot. He's someone who's been married before. He's very honest about his previous marriage and he doesn't hide it. And he's not sort of afraid to say the reasons behind that relationship and why it failed. He does explain that he's accomplished most of his career goals and he's hoping to find someone because he does feel lonely and he feels he would like someone. He's worried about, being alone for the rest of his life, and so this is something that is entered into after lengthy sort of exploration, and something that is determined to make work, and is hoping to find someone that to be matched with someone that will be after the same goals. Whereas Virginia is a 26-year-old young lady. She has her own career. She does explain that she's a product of divorce, and that in itself has created a lot of issues for her. And she's after someone who's definitely in the process for the right reasons, and is definitely committed to the process, and is hoping to have a lasting relationship with her, because she mentions that she has issues with abandonment. They both come across as, in my opinion, Virginia and Eric appear to be a perfect match in the sense that I think she will bring him out of himself and he will be able to help her sort of settle down and sort of maybe calm some of her fears that she has. And if they truly work on that, they could have a lasting relationship. From Virginia and from Eric and Virginia, we are then introduced to Paige and Chris. To me, Paige she's an accountant. She says she's God-fearing, and it seems like most of her major decisions or most of her beliefs are guided by the fact that God has had a hand in it and is sort of guiding her choices or her decisions or whatever she's going through. She does mention that she's very, very much looking forward to being a participant, and she really wants to be married to someone and have a lasting relationship. She seems to have her career on the right path, and it appears to be someone who is definitely after someone to share her life with and all her accomplishments. Paige is matched with Chris, who mentions that he's been is recently out of a relationship. He was engaged and just split up from his partner 3 months ago. That to me is a bit of a red flag, because if he was engaged 3 months ago, how long before that did he, in the 3 months that he broke up from his girlfriend, how long after the breakup did he wait before he decided to sign up for the show? And was he definitely over his relationship with his partner, or was he just doing it while he was hoping to see what would come out of his relationship with his partner? We do see him with his pastor from church, and for me, I know Paige just mentioned that she wants a God-fearing man, but this is the first time we get to see someone have their pastor around them all the time. It's as though he's trying to sort of reinforce the fact that he is definitely someone who's committed to his faith. He does mention that he was a minister in a church, but there's something a bit off with him. I don't know him as a person, so I can't judge him. But for me, Chris doesn't seem to be appropriate for this process, in the sense that I don't think he's right to participate in the experiment, in the sense that I don't think he's finished with his previous relationships. I think he should have taken time out and maybe signed up for the next year or the next time they come round, because it's a bit too soon, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think 3 months is a bit too soon for him, because obviously it takes about 6 weeks, I think, for the screening process or something. So that would mean that within less than a month and a half, he was looking up to signing up for Marriage at First Sight. So I'm a bit concerned about that, and we'll see how it goes as the show progresses. We get to meet Chris. Chris has his minister there, his pastor. He has his family there who he says his parents are both ministers, and both sides of his family, they are people that are sort of within the church. His family do express concerns about his prospective partner being of faith. And he does sort of, when you initially, it seems more faith-based and more religion and stuff, and you think this is the right guy, but something doesn't sit right, because when he is asked about who he asked for in a partner, his list comes off a bit off, because he's talking about sex. He seems more based on appearances than anything else. So he's more on how she looks, how good she is in bed, and all that stuff, instead of being more focused on the qualities of the woman. And the fact that he's also been engaged twice previously is concerning. Is he definitely in this because he's looking for a life partner, or is he in this just because he's someone who likes being in a relationship and is after marriage and keeps failing to find the right partner? He does come across as someone who's worked hard to get to where he is, but there's still something not right in the fact that he's been married twice before. He's been engaged twice before. His expectations of a partner are someone, who's great in bed, someone who looks sexy, someone, which are things that you would look for if you were looking for a partner for yourself, not if you were to go on Married at First Sight and ask them to match you with someone. So it is concerning to me how he comes across, and how he sort of, even though he's got all this faith, religion stuff, but the some of the things that he says are a bit sort of off-putting. So hopefully they will work, but we'll see as the season goes. Next, we're introduced to Hayley and Paige. Hayley is a sales representative. She's 28 years old. She says she hasn't been in a relationship for almost 7 years. She have she's with her friends. She lets her friends know that she's been matched with someone and is supposed to get married in 2 weeks. Her friends come across as very skeptical about her decision to get married, and some of them have questions about Hailey's ideas about the process and her expectations from the process. She seems like she's looking forward to the process and really wants to get married and is hoping to find a life partner through the experiment. So hopefully she and Jacob are able to make it work. However, for me, I'm a bit on the fence for both when it comes to Hailey and Jacob and Chris and Paige. There's something that doesn't quite fit for me in both their relationships, which obviously it's at the start of the season, so we haven't really seen much of them. But it seems they're matching. They're not perfect for each other. I know the experts always try and sort of match people who are able to complement each other, but something seems a bit off with both of them, with both couples. So I don't know. We'll see as the season goes by. We're then introduced to Jake. We then meet Jacob with his friends and family, who he tells that he's been matched to someone and will be getting married in the next 2 weeks. It seems this season they've gone for a bit more, much older sort of participants, I think, because of issues in the previous season. So they're hoping, I think, in my opinion, that hopefully with people that are a bit older, they are definitely ready for this process and are definitely ready for the commitment of marriage. Jacob comes across as a bit, in my opinion, he's an accomplished person, but he comes across as a bit socially awkward in the sense that he's one of those people that tend to find it difficult, to start conversations or to sort of maintain a conversation with people. Not that he doesn't want to, but he seems like he's just someone who's used to doing things on his own and being on his own. So when he comes up to other people, he sort of finds it difficult to sort of communicate or sort of not get along with people, because I don't know him, but he comes across as a bit socially awkward in the sense that he seems to struggle with maintaining a conversation, in my opinion. Next, we meet Clara and Ryan. I love Clara. I know she's comes across as very bubbly, someone who's very social, someone who will speak to anyone, and she is in it for the right reasons. She does explain that she's got this history of very bad relationships. It sounds like she's been through a lot. She is very anxious for the process and is very looking forward to meeting her match and hoping that this is going to work. And so she does, to me, sound like she's in it for the right reasons, and I'm hoping that Ryan is that guy, because for me, I think this season, out of the 5 couples, the couples that I see possibly making it are Brianna and Vincent. I've said that right from the jump. Eric and Virginia, even though they seem a bit sort of awkward and odd, but I think that is going to make them a very successful couple. And because if Virginia can sort of help bring Eric out of his shell and he can sort of help her sort of calm down a bit, they will do amazing. And then for Clara and Ryan, for me, I think they're the third couple that I see making going the full distance, because she is very social. She's very, outgoing and very accepting, and will be able to sort of pull him out of himself, and sort of hopefully they will be able to balance each other out. We meet Ryan, who's with his friends. Ryan seems very accomplished. He's 29 years old. He's talking about his goals and his accomplishments. He's also a person of faith. He does mention that he's been in previous interracial relationships, and people have sort of made remarks, but to him, love is love, and it's not about judging someone about their background or who they are or what they represent. he comes across as a very stable guy. So, and he seems to be someone who's sort of structured in his way of doing things or thinking. And with the way Clara is just a free spirit, I think they will do the same thing for each other that I think Eric um and Virginia are going to do, because I think, in my opinion, the experts are hoping that Clara will be able to sort of bring him out of his shell, and he will be able to sort of balance her out as well. So I see them being the third couple this season that could be successful if they continue to do the work, because they both seem committed to the process and they both seem committed to finding a partner. So I'm hoping that they will make it work. We then the participants are then meet up. So the ladies meet up and get to know each other. The guys meet up and get to know each other, and the conversation starts. And obviously, people pick up on the fact that Virginia, likes to party. She likes to talk and stuff, and the ladies seem to get along way better than the guys, because with the girls you can see the questions they're asking each other are questions that are sort of thought provoking, questions that are meant to sort of build or to sort of soothe any fears or any concerns that the other women might have. Whereas with the guys, um, I think some of them feel like they're outmatched, so they try to overcompensate. And in that sense, what I mean is, for example, like Chrissy tries to sort of brag about, his accomplishments and stuff. And when they ask questions, you can tell people are sort of put off by Chris's answers. Like when they ask him, what is your biggest fear? And instead of him being like, answering with something that's so thought provoking or something that's positive. His first concern is the person's appearance. And you think somebody might not look great, but that doesn't mean that they're not a good person. You can't just base your opinion of someone on their facial appearance or their exterior appearance. It could be they're not the best looking person, but it could be they're kind hearted, they're thoughtful, they're loving. So I think when he makes the comments, you can see the other guys' faces. They just drop and they're just like, why would you say that? And I love the fact that Vincent actually picks up on the fact that Chris is a bit sketchy and he himself is concerned in his responses. And you can tell from Eric's facial expressions and Ryan's facial expressions that they're not impressed. Whereas I think everybody else tries to have a poker face and tries to sort of just pretend like they didn't hear it or they don't have an opinion. But unfortunately, Eric and Ryan, they can't hide their feelings. Every time Chris says something, you can see their faces that they're being put off by it. Then they move on to the getting, obviously, the clothing, the gowns, and the suits for the wedding, and we get to see um, couples choose their gowns. I think because of COVID, they can't bring that many people, so you find like Brianna brought her friend, and Vincent was able to bring a couple of friends as well. So it seems like they have been taking some precautions, um, because of there've been sort of some adjustments made because of COVID-19. So they haven't had as many people sort of participate in that process. But it's very nice to see the brides choose their outfits and sort of choose gowns that sort of complement them. And hopefully they'll be happy with their choices on their wedding day. We also get to see all the other brides. So it seems Paige was able to bring her mum. Chris brought his pastor again. And for me, I'm a bit confused as to whether that's his minister for church or whether he's his minister for church and he's also a personal friend. But they seem to, to be concerned that he's a bit picky and they're worried that this might not be the best process for him. And then we get to see Jacob and Haley also bring family and friends just to help them through the process and sort of help them with their choices for what they're going to wear. Haley, it seems she's brought her mum, and Jacob has a couple of friends with him, and they seem to find, the thing they find, Jacob seems to find, seems to be happy with his choice of what to wear on his wedding. So is Haley. We then see Ryan and Eric choosing their outfits, and for me, I think of all the couples trying their outfits, Victoria was very touching for me, especially when she cried when her stepmom came to surprise her, given the fact that her dad and most of her family is a bit concerned about her going through the process. And so it showed a very softer side of Virginia and her wanting a family. And I think that's one thing that Eric will be able to give her. Hopefully, if Eric's mom can see past any faults that Victoria might have, she might actually have the family that she wants. Ryan and Clara are very. You can see the difference in their characters when they choose their gowns. Ryan is very sort of centered in himself. He's very structured. He's very methodical in what he does, whereas Clara is a bit more free-spirited in her choices and what she wants to wear or what she wants to look like. After all the couples have chosen their gowns, we move on to the bachelorette party, and the bachelor party, and it's nice to see the girls just unwind and relax and have a great time, and they all seem to get along very well, which is very nice. Chris arrives late at the bachelor party, and you can see some of the guys are not impressed. He turns up with this blow up doll, and it's just, I don't mean to seem like I keep picking on him, but it's just, he's not creating a very good first impression on people, and yet he has these expectations and he has these things that he wants his partner, these expectations. She must be pretty, she must be, great at this, great at that, great at that. But even though he's been seeing his pastor for a while, it seems he's not been giving him the right sort of feedback. And there's a sort of funny scene where Vincent sort of speaks to one of the strippers, and for me it's hilarious because when I saw that live, I just thought of last season, where one of the the grooms, was playing. Bennett was playing with the strippers, and that's what I thought of, and I just started laughing. But it's quite nice that they give the grooms time to sort of get to know each other, create a friendship, give the prospective brides a chance to know each other and create a bonding system, sort of support system, so that whatever happens throughout the experiment, they have someone they can fall back on, someone they can communicate with, and someone hopefully that can help them through the process, which is very good for them, and very which is something that I think has come up as a result of the various experiments that have gone on through the seasons. We see the brides and the grooms preparing for their weddings, and in my opinion, I think Ryan is the one who came out strong because he did something that was very sentimental. He wrote this very amazing letter. He made her a playlist. And so these are things that I think were very important for Clara to sort of calm her down, because we see her panicking, complaining about her dress, her hair, and everything. And I think that seemed to soothe her. And I think the blindfolds as well were perfect because that sort of that gave her time to settle down and sort of calm her nerves before she looked at her partner, because we see her sort of freaking out before she gets to walk down the aisle. And so getting her to the aisle and getting her to stand there just to allow her time to sort of gather herself and calm herself down. And the fact that he himself was going through the same process and he wanted them to look at each other at the same time, I think for me, those were very good things that Ryan did that sort of were a big check on Clara's list, and you could see how excited she was. Even her mother, Clara's mother, you could tell that she's sort of, her heart was warmed by the letter, because you hear her say, oh, it doesn't matter what he looks like, the letter that he wrote is just enough. And so for me, I think out of all the grooms, I know Vincent also create or had a was able to make a very good first impression on Brianna's mother. But I think of all the grooms, the one right at the top, right out the gate, was Ryan, followed by Vincent. And so we get to see first of all, they start off with Clara and Ryan's wedding. So we get to see them prepare to walk, for Clara prepared to walk down the aisle and meet her groom. Obviously, she's going to be wearing the blindfold. And then we move on to next week for the next episode. Please don't, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you next time. Thank you.